Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alina from Creative Field Designs, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to draw this lovely autumnal wreath. It's a really fun little project. I really hope you enjoy it. So let's get started. So for this video I'll be mainly using these Micron pens, and these are really lovely. So they do come in different sizes. So I've got 02, 08, 05. So the bigger the number, the thicker your tip of the pen is going to be. So I'm going to stick to this one, which is 02, and it's quite thin. So I do love how thin it is. It just creates a really delicate kind of style, and it looks quite neat and simple. I really love it. You could also go for something that's a bit thicker, like 08 for example. But these pens are amazing. Sometimes I feel like anything you draw with these will look good, even if you don't know how to draw. So give it a go. You can also use any sort of pencil or pen, of course, but these will be the best for this project. We will need a little bowl or anything you can use to draw a circle shape. And if you do want to letter something on the inside of your wreath, you can have a brush pen by your side as well. So before we begin, I thought it would be really nice if we practice some of the floral elements separately before we start putting them into our wreath. So I'll just show you some nice leafy details with maybe some berries and autumnal details you can try and paint. So the first one is going to be very simple. When I was learning how to draw, this was like the first thing I learned and I was drawing it all the time. It's very simple. So you're just starting with the stem and then adding these sort of leaf details on top, two at a time, and then leaving a little gap between these set of two. So just like this, it looks very simple on its own, but can look really good as a detail or filler in your wreath. So the second one, we're going to make our stem a bit more curved. So starting with this, and then at the top, we're going to paint a few berries like this. So I'm just adding a little circle and then coloring it in. And then adding in some leaves. And then just adding a line in the middle of each leaf to add a bit more detail. And just keep varying, so just blend in some more berries, a few more leaves. There we go. This is something fun to try. The next one, we're going to make a little flower. So again, very curved stem. And then right at the top, we're going to do a little triangle and color it in. This is going to be our base. And then start sort of making these shapes. So you can have any sort of shape you like, but try to imagine it's like a little petal. So do one in the center and then just add two more on the left and on the right. Imagining that the leaves are sort of hiding. Again, try not to overthink here. Just let it flow. Try to think of petals and how they grow, so that really helps. Just keep adding them. So just have your main stem and then keep going. You can rotate your page if that's a bit easier for you. It can be quite hard to paint upside down, so you can always adjust. And it just looks quite lovely, quite simple, but looks quite good. Alright, so the next one, I always think it looks like lavender. So again, starting with a curved line, and then at the top, we're just going to do one petal and then go all the way down, and maybe stop here, and then just add in some more leaves. And this time I'm going to stack them up. So I'm going to start here Notice that I've left a little gap, so that's what makes it look good here. So instead of sort of starting from here, start your leaves from a bit higher up and stack them up, leaving one petal at the top. Keep adding more. Again, if you need to rotate your page, feel free to do so. You can just practice this a few times. You can make it as full as you like. The next one's going to be almost like a little berry, like a little bud. So I'm just going to paint my stem first and then do this like a leaf shape at the top, and then add in some lines. So starting from the center up here and then going all the way down to the center at the bottom. And then maybe do a little circle and just add in a little blossom at the top. And these look really good if you vary the size, so maybe keep some of them very small and just do a few. Might look quite simple on their own, but again, when they're blended in our wreath, they will look lovely. Just do a little one to the bottom. Try to find your pace. You don't have to go very fast, you can go quite slow. I find if you go too slow, it sort of looks a bit too arranged, if that makes sense. So you do want to have that movement here that we can often see in nature. Okay, I will leave this here. So there we go. We can try some other ones. So maybe we could do something like just a very simple stem and then just lots of berries. I'm just colouring in these little circles, and it adds a lot of contrast as some of these are just lines. Again, so very simple. You can also make one that's sort of branching out a bit more. So imagine it's like a tree, and then we're going to make our berries quite big and leave them hollow as well. So not colouring in here, just leaving them as they are. Adding more branches. There we go. And let's do maybe a few more. So the one I really like is, again, starting with the stem, and then can just add 3 little petals. So very simple. Little stem, and then more petals at the top. You could also go for some bigger leaves. You could maybe make them nice and long, quite narrow, and then add a bit of detail. Just to have some contrast in size. When you do add these branches, I always like to go over my actual stem once again, and then just imagine that they're growing out of it like this. Okay, and the last one we can try is just sort of like a simple one again. We're going to do like a little infinity sign at the top, and then leave a gap and do another one and another one right below, and then leave a gap again, just try to do this like continuous line. That might look quite nice as well. So there we go, you can practice these individually as many times as you like before we connect them together into our actual wreath. And when you're ready, you're going to grab a blank page, and I'm just placing my bowl right in the center, trying to imagine that it's right in the center. You can also measure it out, of course, just to have even gaps at the top, bottom, and then right and left. I'm going to use my pencil to lightly go over. We can always erase it afterwards, but we do need some guidelines here for our circle. There we go, that looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and start painting it from this side. So remember, if you do start from here, for example, you want to carry on in one direction, so clockwise or anti-clockwise. Try not to do some of the leaves facing this way and then do some of them facing this way. I find that it looks much better when it's all in one continuous movement. So I'm going to start from right here and then just carry on to the right. So let's begin with something simple, so just some simple leaves to get us started. And again, try not to overthink it here. Even if you're not happy with some of the detail, remember it will all look good together. So remember to stick to this circle shape. So when you do your stems, you can always trace this circle line, so you do sort of keep within the shape. But also, don't be afraid to wander off a little bit, inwards or outwards. That looks quite good as well. Let's do some of these buds here. You can always fill in any gaps later as well, so don't worry if you notice any gaps. Start with the base and you can always add on more. Maybe going to do some of the lavender. So you can see I'm starting the stem here, following my circle. It sort of creates a curve naturally here. And start stacking them up. One going to the right, another one going to the left. And some more coming out of the sides. Some more berry details and leaves here. Maybe do some of those flowers here. Just letting it flow. Maybe do some bigger leaves. don't have to be extra careful here. Sometimes that distressed look actually looks really nice. Some of the flower detail again. Try to balance it all out. Try not to fit some chunky leaves next to the chunky ones. We do want to have a nice balance between the simple ones and the more complicated ones. Alright, and what I usually like to do when I sort of come to this point, I like to just go back here and just carry on here, leaving this little gap, and then just see what I need more in the composition to connect it all together. So I'm just going to switch to this side and do a few flowers here. Trying to let it flow as much as we can. Let's add some of these in. Just adding some contrast. Try to darken some areas by colouring things in. And I'm sort of coming to this point where I'm going to connect them together. So I think I might just add in some more flowers here. Just bigger leaves here. Then you can start sort of checking whether you need to fill in any gaps. So I can see that I don't really have many elements here, so I just might add in maybe some more berries here. Maybe add another flower. Even do another lavender here. And same here, and just making it a bit fuller by adding more leaves. So you can see, even though it's not a perfect circle, it sort of still looks like a circle because we try to follow the pencil line and blend in our stems within that pencil line whenever we can. You can keep going for as long as you like here. Okay, I'm going to stop here, otherwise I'll never stop. So there we go, so this is our little wreath. I'm just going to erase this pencil line. As I can see, it's still there. Just make sure your pen dries before you do this. You don't want to smudge your drawing. And if you wanted, you could always letter something on the inside. And I'm just going to grab a thicker one, so I'm going to use 081 for the lettering. So just make sure you keep it nicely centered. Again, try to imagine you have some even gaps here. Sometimes it's even helpful to mark your lettering area like this. So I sort of have this little box to letter in. You can just letter something very simple like "Hello Autumn." So there we go, a very quick, simple autumnal design. I hope you enjoyed this and found this helpful. Make sure to like this video if you'd like to see more tutorials like this. It always motivates me to create more. Thank you so much guys for watching this. See you next time.